Stadium Stampede. So we have Ricochet, GOA, Mark Davis, Andrade, and the Dogs all pulling up in their, $1 million vehicles. And that's probably a conservative estimate. And then the babyfaces arrive with this. They arrive to Devil's Dance by Metallica, which must have been an expensive song because that was the only music that we got in this particular one. That's all they were splurging.
Somebody I saw suggested to us that maybe the music thing might be strictly an Anarchy in the Arena thing, and this is stadium.
Was this not kind of like Anarchy in the Arena?
Totally different things.
Yes,
completely different.
So, yeah, they did this incredible intro for all the baby faces. They're all decked out in suits and ended up basically working the match in their attire here. Jack Perry,
going for a Reservoir Dogs type of thing.
That's what I thought as well. It kind of had with the
I can't believe you didn't notice. That was a clear reference to.
Yeah, it's if that they should have all been different colors instead of just going with the yellow and green. But so here we go. We get a big roar as the crowd goes nuts here at the beginning. We do get a wall of 4 screens that they only went to this one time, but they had this beautiful graphics for this whole thing, and it seemed
I think it's fine to have and maybe good to have in theory, but more often than not, it just kind of takes away your focus. Whenever they did do a split screen thing, I often felt it was almost better to just focus on one thing because the crowd was kind of responding to one thing only anyway. Well,
and you could also see this was a 31-minute match, and they really limited the stuff outside of the arena. This was pretty contained to 90% in and around the ring. They did not do kind of your Stadium Stampedes where it's everyone goes off into their different sections and we're checking in on people. It was this really was Anarchy in the Arena. That's more so what this was. And we should mention the crowd was going crazy for Judas, and Lashley and Benjamin were so over with this crowd. And I thought the two of them, this is maybe the best I've seen them used in AEW. They were great as the muscle for the team. And Shelton got a ton of focus in this as well to do some dives. They were really, I thought they were utilized really well in terms of their incorporation into the match.
Same with Toa specifically.
Dude, Toa might have been the star of the match. This felt like we're going to make Toa. He was incredible in this. Mm-hmm. He did a spot early. He lifts both of the Bucks and Jack Perry onto his shoulders for a Samoan drop. That was just, this guy's stupid strong. This was just nuts. And he did it without any hesitation at all. Yeah. Ricochet hit a shooting star early on to the floor, and then we get Toa applying an abdominal stretch to Kenny Omega because diverticulitis. And then the 6 partners all chain link their hands together to break the man's intestines, and MVP breaks the chain. I found this amusing.
It was so ridiculous, and in just this sort of Kenny and the Bucks comedic type of way, but it fucking worked, and it worked especially in the Stadium Stampede setting, which I think allows for this sort of pseudo comedy.
Yeah. Shelton did a dive, Jericho did a high cross to the floor, and then we get Omega, the Bucks, and Jericho on opposite corners, all delivering top rope Hurricane Ranas in succession, and they decided, let's cut out the punches. Let's just go right to the Ranas, and it worked a lot better. Jack Perry showed up, and he had one of those miniature vacuums that he just broke over Mark Davis's head. And I was wondering if this is what busted open Mark Davis, because he just cracked him over the head with this thing. And then the next time we saw him, his eye was bandaged shut, and he was just, I don't know.
I wonder. But
we also had
he did the vacuum spot, by the way, before on Toa in the past. He just lobbed him with a giant vacuum last time. And
dust flew everywhere here. This looked disgusting. So then we did break up into some scenes backstage, including the Hurt Syndicate and GOA brawling into this medical area where we got the reunion that no one asked for with Bobby Lashley and Lio Rush. After all these years, they were back together.
Yeah, in totally different iterations. I guess Lashley largely the same, but Leo Rush very different from how he was before.
Did anyone at least propose the idea of Lashley just bending over just for old time's sake?
Yeah, I was waiting for him to hit him with the pose, and
Leo just gallops away as he sees the pose.
Yeah.
So that was it. They just had Leo Rush here for like a second to bite Toa's hand, and then
again, like maybe the element of comedy and these sort of like special appearance types of things is maybe more indicative of a Stadium Stampede versus an Anarchy in the Arena. But I personally loved this. I love, like, Leo Rush is such an off the wall character that I think is so, I find captivating in spurts, and this was the perfect way of like having your little cameo with a bit of like Bobby Lashley WWE tie-in. Like he's like a dog that, like, you know, Bobby Lashley just finds that, you know, ultimately like helps him. You know,
maybe these guys have a future together in the Hurt Syndicate.
The Hurt Syndicate's new pet. Yeah.
Yes. Pet Leo. Andrade did a selfie with a woman, and as he's going for the shot, Luchasaurus appears with a wig and spits mist into Andrade.
It's ridiculous.
Jericho brought out a bag of tennis balls, which prompted the crowd, who's been chanting bald all night and at Ricochet here, to chant balls as he suplexes Ricochet onto the balls. It's like somewhere Darby Allin's watching this and being like, man, they get such a great reaction and they're falling on tennis balls.
Maybe someday he will transition. He will have his Mick Foley, Mr. Sacco transformation.
He's got to see his version of a Kane Dewey sign and turn on the fans and take it away from them. If the Post Wrestling Cafe were to undergo a drug test in the month of May, we would be testing positive because we are overloaded with content. We are going to be reviewing Hulk Hogan, Real American, all 4 episodes this month. Plus, we will go inside the Manosphere with a review of the latest Louis Theroux documentary. We will also have coverage of the Ronda Rousey-Gina Carano fight, also taking place on Netflix. Rewind Away tackles WCW Super Brawl 2, and we cover NXT TakeOver Brooklyn from 2015. All that, plus all of the XL editions on a weekly basis, Collision Course, Daredevil Born Again, and so much more. It can all be yours at postwrestlingcafe.com. $8 gets you in the door. Davis and Perry are in catering, and this is when Wei Ting's favorite extra made it.
Oh my God.
Into Stadium Stampede. We got the return of Tommy Invincible for this great moment where Mark Davis was okay here because he wasn't bandaged here in catering. So
yeah, unless this was a pre-tape somehow that they might have cut to.
I guess that's a fair point too.
Possible.
I don't know what the spot was because
I didn't see anything here that would have, like, you know, damaged his eye that badly. It was
maybe the vacuum, because nothing here would suggest that the man might have lost an eye.
Tommy Invincible must have been responsible. He must have did this to poor Mark Davis.
Yeah, he got murdered, and then Andrade.
So has Tommy Invincible been on AEW before? The fact that you even have to think about it suggests, like, what, you know, like, who are they playing to here? Like, I know
I don't think he has been, unless there's like an ROH appearance. That I don't think this guy's ever been on Collision or Dynamite.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know how many people would even like know the reference, other than the fact that I know he has a social media following.
It's if you got it, you got it, and if you didn't, it's like it's a blip on the radar of this match.
But if you've seen him in JCW and these clusterfucks and like the Matt Cardona feud, it's so much better because this guy is the best. This was
really funny, and then
this guy.
Well, we're still in catering. Andrade knocks into.
Oh! By the way, they did say, thank you, EZ251. They said Davis hit his eye on the chair leg, which I believe was in this particular scene in catering in the back.
Okay,
or somewhere back here.
That sounds fun. So Andrade knocks it into Satnam Singh, which is the first we have seen this guy in like years on AEW proper.
This man got on a plane, you know. To get here,
and he arrived, and they're like, "Okay, this is what you're gonna do." And dude, Andrade was so funny here. He turns around and he's like, "Oh shit, oh fuck," and then gets killed by Satnam Singh here. So that was our food, and then we had a food fight at the end. Why not?
Poor Mark Davis might have lost an eye.
Yeah, this would be the segment, I guess. Imagine that. Connors, back in the arena, is placed into a shopping cart with a trash can over top and wheeled into a super kick by Nick. Jericho and Ricochet go backstage, and they got one of those tennis ball machines, and Jericho starts shooting it at Ricochet. We also got the cameo from Luther, who was back here, to give Jericho an oversized tennis racket. And it's like, well, not all ideas land, but this was one of them.
It was fine.
Sure,
No,
why not?
No.
What I did find amusing was this tennis ball machine. It didn't stop shooting as Jericho went in front to pin Ricochet, and these balls are still firing off, and they're at some close range here. I was waiting for Jericho to just lose his eye here, but Ricochet kicks out. We go back to the ring, and we pretty much stay, well, sorry, except for this one. We go to Mark Davis, who is now fully transformed into Marv from Home Alone, because he is stumbling outside, bandaged around his face, including his entire eye that is covered in a bandage. And he goes to a vehicle and finds a note with Jack Perry's knife inside of it. And he turns as the Jurassic Express pulls up and drives into these cars. And we cut away with the conclusion that Mark Davis has been murdered.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
And then he just, poof, he's back ringside like wrestling.
Oh, he must have escaped. Yeah.
I guess so. Jack Perry took a look and he was like, oh, okay.
This was a pretty serious like stunt here. And I know like this guy like has been driving this, like this is his daily vehicle. I think like he drives this like to indie shows. He drives this everywhere. So I hope this wasn't a total loss. And I hope that they can fix this poor car.
Man, he needs to get Dylan's old Porsche.
I don't get the
Actually,
reference,
the
but I
black
appreciate
one,
it.
that was the one he drove down the big mountain during his season 5 Exodus. So we have the. Sorry, this is just such a ridiculous match. Yeah. We're back to the ring, and we see. Toa takes a German off the apron through a table by Shelton Benjamin. The spot we always say, like, you tease but never do. Toa was in AJ Styles mode tonight. He's like, no, German me through this table. So he went through that. That's the end of Toa. And then Andrade takes a one-winged angel off the apron by Kenny.
It's a big succession of table spots from everybody involved. So you got something like 7.
The Bucks did the elbows to the floor, taking out the dogs. And then, Kenny hit this incredible one-winged angel to take out Andrade. Ricochet is left alone. So it's 7-on-1. He takes everyone's finisher, including the BTE trigger. And Jericho sets up for the Judas effect when Khan, who, quite frankly, had not had any real moment in this entire match, saves Ricochet and takes the bullet for him. And it results in a 7-way super kick by the babyfaces and Jericho winning with the Lion Salt, but not to Ricochet in 31 minutes and 15 seconds. And this, basically they all like took a bow. Like this was the end of like a live Broadway play. And Judas is playing, and the Hurt Syndicate give Jericho the thumbs up, which I guess is the official bearing of the hatchet between entities. And
I think he's in the group now. He should join the group. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Jericho sets up a table, points to the sky as a tribute to Sabu, and jumps through the table.
I don't think he actually set up the table, because if you watch closely, his table didn't break of the whole like series of table spots. Because he was towards the end, and his splash off the corner didn't actually break the table.
Okay, well, he went through it here.
Yeah, so I think like it was one to break the table that didn't break, and also I guess to spontaneously give a tribute to Sabu, perhaps. This match was awesome. I mean, 14 people in one match, and somehow they made it all work. You know, a match like this, I think. You did a great job recapping it, first of all, John. You know,
I literally, if you could see my screen here, like I broke this up into like chapters. It was just like an insane match to recap.
These are like the types of matches you really just kind of sit back and absorb more than really like digest and think about. It really is the best party match you can get in professional wrestling. And, you know, like really what we got to see here was all these heels take a huge beating. Like, and like the heels, especially the dogs, like their job here was to just like get destroyed by the baby faces. And I think that's totally the right call, because it's just the goal is to make the match fun. And it was fun as hell to see these heels get beaten up. Heat will be achieved later on in other ways, but I thought, like, for tonight, you just wanted to create an incredible atmosphere and an incredible feeling for this audience. And I thought almost all the spots work, or at least attempts towards it, were appreciated for maybe their effort and creativity. But that final table sequence with all the tables, I thought was just excellent. And they have to live up to the standard of like being one of the most fun matches of the year, and I thought they managed to live up to that, certainly.
Yeah, I'm not going to say it was my favorite version of the match, but it was like, just to pull this off, like it's really incredible to see this done, like a 31-minute fight scene involving 14 people. Like, it's just like, logistically, you have to be able to appreciate just being able to pull off something of this caliber with this many people on a live pay-per-view. Like that's where I really just am so impressed with this. And they had some great moments in this thing overall as well. And it's one of their staple matches, and it's probably one of the hardest matches to put together and get all these ideas and so many different people that are probably contributing. Like, it's really worth people's time. I didn't see all of it, but they did do the Bucks posted a director's commentary of the first Stadium Stampede. Wow. And it was really like, I watched like most of it, and it was really interesting. It was like the first time they had watched it back, and it also features some footage of like behind the scenes of that day when they were shooting it as well. So
yeah, a lot of credit to the production team involved in being able to capture like the chaos of a match like this.
And Tommy Invincible,
especially him, the MVP, the other MVP of the match.